Hello YouTube, this is Christy with Little Roots Ranch, and today I was making some soil blocks and I thought that I would share the way that I do it. It's not any way super specific because it's also a way that Elliot Coleman does it, and I figure he's the best at everything, but nonetheless, so I guess it's technically his recipe and not matched to me. Sorry, my hands are all dirty. I think of it like dirt all over my face, but working out in the field, and you know, that's what happens. Today was pretty hot over here. I know the East Coast is getting a lot of frost and some snow up in Canada and stuff like that, and it's in May, but nonetheless. So anyways, I wanted to share my recipe because it's six ingredients, which is compost, finely sifted, but compost, and perlite, and peat moss, and blood meal, and gypsum sand, and what am I blanking? Blood meal, gypsum sand, rock phosphate. Sorry about that. I always feel on the spot when I'm on the camera. But anyways, so I'm gonna give the recipe for one batch, which does approximately 9 rows of the 4 soil blocks that I put in a 10-20 tray. Right now, the batch I'm going to show you, I don't know if you can see it right there, my cool overalls, but so that batch is 4 batches in one. But basically, I use a quart-sized jar, which is over there, and I do a quart-sized jar, and I put, this is just for one batch, obviously you can double, triple, quadruple, a million, whatever you want of it. But I take a quart-sized jar and I do 3 of compost and 3 of peat moss. And then I do 1 of perlite. Then I do 2 tablespoons of the last 3 ingredients, which is the blood meal, the rock phosphate, and the gypsum sand. And then you add water until it's kind of like a dough, not a dough, like brownie dough. It'll literally look like brownies except for the white perlite. And the way you really know when it's ready is if you mound it, I like to grab it in my hand and like squeeze and see how well it holds together, and then toss it from one hand into the other hand, kind of like if I was throwing a baseball and killing time. And if it keeps its, if it keeps together, then I know it's a good block. And of course I've been doing it for so long now that I know just kind of how I like it. But when you're first experimenting, you want to slowly add in the water, because there isn't like a certain amount. It always varies, you know, and not by a lot, but your peat moss might be more moistened or more dry or whatever. And then you do your soil blocks. So I'll show a few pictures. So for compost, I've just got my large pile that I get delivered, and there's a whole bunch of it, but I use that. And then all of these I happen to have gotten off Amazon, but there's peat moss, blood meal, rock phosphate, garden gypsum, or gypsum sand, whatever. I always feel like I say that wrong. And then the perlite, which I have in the house. I've got like a huge bag. I didn't realize it was going to be like, I don't know, if it was full of anything but perlite, it would weigh like 1,000,000 pounds, but yeah. Okay, then I want to add some water. And my next step will be hand mixing it, of course. Okay, so I've got everything in there, and then so I mix it up, which I have been doing 3 batches in here, and I want to do 4 because I'm always looking to reduce the amount of, or be more efficient or whatever. And I think 4 is a little bit big for this tub. I usually use like a way bigger tub, but they were all full and I didn't manage it very well. So I'm just mixing all of these up. You can see here. When you squeeze it, there will be water coming out. I don't know if you can see that. But as you can see, it's kind of a firm ball there, or mass. I don't know if you can see it on there you go. And that's what I want. I can kind of throw it against my hand, and I mean, obviously it'll break. It's not, you know, the strongest thing in the world. Then I pack it down. I can usually tell when it's all packed in kind of how it looks. I'll share. My hands are all dirty. So you see there, when I push down, it has some water and then it absorbs it. Of course, that's the peat moss or whatever. Let's see if I can. Okay. And so then I need, oh, just one moment. Okay. So this is the soil block maker. I don't know if you have used one or not, but it's really awesome. Basically what you do is you burrow it into the stuff, and you want to do like a back and forth rocking motion to really pack it in there. And then I always just make sure it's nice and flat. And so what I'm going to do to get them out is to plunge this. Usually I do it right into my tray, but obviously I want to show you the soil blocks. So I don't think you can see, no you can't, okay. So what it does is it makes 4 of these. I don't know, so it's pretty much a perfect square. I don't know if you can see it or not, but there's actually a hole right there where you can put the seed. I don't know if you can see it, but it comes from, see there's little divots inside of there. I don't know if you can see it, but it makes a perfect place. So when you put these in your tray, then you can just drop the seed in and just pinch it closed. What I really like about these is that, my glasses. What I really like about these is that the roots do what's called air pruning. And so air pruning is when the roots are traveling through the soil block and they're so happy and healthy with the blood meal and all the nutrients and the compost, and then they hit the air and they're like, whoa, what is that? And they just stop growing and just wait. Well, then the farmer or gardener or whatever goes and puts them in the soil, and they're ready to go. The second they touch that soil, they're like, yeah guys, let's go, and they go out there. Whereas traditional, like when you use pots or something like that, and then your mixture gets what's called, this thing's driving me crazy, what's called soil root bound, sorry. And that's where the roots start making that death circle around the bottom of the container. And then you've got to, you know, and they'll continue doing that for a couple days until they realize, oh, hey, we actually have a lot more room and we can go, you know, do this or that or whatever. So that's one of the reasons I like soil blocks, is because I find that the plants take quicker when they're potted up or transplanted out in the field or whatever. I feel like there's less damage. I can see the roots and their activity. It's not, you know, with containers, you have to pull them out and then see. I mean, containers do have their place and there are certain things, you know, that they're good for. What I like about soil blocks too is that it takes up a lot less room. I really use the soil blocks when I'm just starting in the early spring. I guess it would be kind of late winter technically. But when I'm working and, you know, I can see where everything's at and I can put that many more under a light, which is what I use. And yeah, so I'm gonna make a couple more and then I'll show you a video of my tray of soil blocks. Okay, so I've got one tray done. I did 10 across, and of course they're 4 deep, so 40 soil blocks per 10-20 tray, which is 10 by 20 inches or something like that. Anyways, and so this is the final product, and I don't know if you can see those divots or not, but those are where I'll put the seeds and then pinch them closed and plant whatever I want. I've got a whole bunch of these to make. But again, the recipe is 3 quarts of compost, 3 quarts of peat moss, 1 quart of perlite, and then 2 tablespoons of the following items, the 3 following items, which is gypsum sand, blood meal, and rock phosphate. Thank you again for watching this video. I hope that I can help you make soil blocks, or at least explain the way that I do it, which again, like I said, is the same way that Elliot Coleman does it. And I appreciate you watching. As always, please like the video or subscribe or ask any questions in the comments, and I'm available. And thanks for coming on the journey with me. All right, have a great day. Bye.